YouTube, my name is Camille and welcome back to my palace. In today's episode, we have another International Student Diaries, Season 1, Episode 8. I will be talking to you guys about group projects, telling you a little story time or even venting to you about my group project. But before we get started, it is very important we do a disclaimer. Yes, this video is not intended to make anybody look bad, not intended to talk down upon anybody or anything, make anything look bad. No person, institution, business, or anything like that. This is my journey abroad, and I am strictly sharing this story to see if it helps anybody else, if anybody can relate. I'm pretty sure we all been in group projects before. And also, talking to y'all, my palace is like venting. It's like a refresher. I shot this video when things were happening, so it was current and in the moment, raw. And of course, I do not want to change my raw footage to make anything seem nice or pretend or whatever. So disclaimer, it is not intended to make anybody or anything or any institution or any business look bad or come off negative. No, I'm just sharing my story and venting for you guys, hoping that someone else probably can relate and learn from it. With that being said, on to the video. Hey guys, it is, sorry, I'm in the microwave. It is the next day, and you know, I had marketing today, the exam, the assignment. So I want to tell you guys about that. So we got put in a group. We did not choose our groups. There was this one girl in the beginning that I was closest to. So she was in my group. And then these two other guys who are Italian. One speaks really good English and the other one not so much. But he can speak it. He's just not that good at it. It's a lot of words he might not know. When we got in the group, it was like, okay, cool. Like, I never had no issue with these people. Like, let's work. The first thing we had to do is choose a brand that we wanted to look at for marketing-wise. Competitors, stuff like that. Me doing this assignment previously in my undergrad, I wanted to do something well-known because the more the brand is well-known, the more we can find information on it. At first, they were throwing out brands that were, like, not well-known or may not even have had, like, 10 years in the industry yet. And I'm just like, that's not a good idea. But the one boy, he said Max Mara. But I didn't want to do Max Mara because I had never heard of Max Mara at the time. The brand that I had threw out was Chanel because Chanel was well-known. It's an iconic brand. We know the competitors. I'm thinking Easy A. The girl, she was like throwing out brands like Kid Super and stuff like that. But Kid Super is kind of new, so it doesn't make sense to do a brand like that. And she was like, she wanted to do a brand that she know versus one she doesn't know. And I agreed with her on that. She didn't know Off-White. I never heard of Off-White. The other Italian guy, he hardly said anything in the group. He didn't say anything in the group, really. He only kind of spoke a little bit when the teacher came over, but to the teacher, not to the group. When the teacher came over, she was like, we should do Max Mara or Chanel. The other brands were a no-go. The guy did not want to do Chanel because he said, oh, I think it's going to be hard to find information. Their website isn't set up to how it should be. It needs to be set up like excuses, basically. So I'm like, okay, Dolce & Gabbana. They all agree on Dolce & Gabbana. Everybody but, like, the Italian that didn't know good English. But he also, like, wasn't really saying anything. So we didn't know, like, what he thought. But he didn't, like, oppose it. He didn't say, no, I don't want to do Dolce & Gabbana, nothing. So we told the teacher we're doing Dolce & Gabbana, and he makes, like, this face. And the teacher was like, I know it's hard to do Dolce & Gabbana as a designer. So I don't really know what that meant or what it was supposed to mean. But as we're leaving out, I told the girl, I'm like, did he not want to do Dolce & Gabbana? We can change to something else. I just think it needs to be iconic because we can do more information on it. We have more information, we can get our A, whatever, and it's easier. And she was like, well, he didn't say nothing, so it is what it is. Some days later, his friend, mind you, the two boys were really close at the time anyway. So his friend come, not really to us. I'm like off to the side, more come to the other girl. And it's like, hey, I spoke with the teacher. She said it's better that we do Max Mara, so we're doing Max Mara. So I'm kind of annoyed because why are you speaking to the teacher about a group project without the group? Like, you know, she could suggest that you should talk to us and say, hey, this is what, you know, like, don't, like, it's giving sneaky, and I don't do sneaky, you know. So that's strike one for me. The next time we had that class, the teacher's saying, like, every brand that every group is doing. Before she gets to us, he cuts her off and was like, we're no longer doing Dolce & Gabbana, we're doing Max Mara. So I make a face like, huh? What? Because it's like, you told us you talked to the teacher, you haven't talked to the teacher, now you're telling her we switched from Dolce & Gabbana to Max Mara. No, you chose. I feel like it was kind of a jab to anybody, more me to anybody, because I'm the only one out the group that had not known Max Mara. I did not know anything about Max Mara at the time. So it's just kind of like, dang, like, all you had to do is have a conversation with me. Like, this is our group, like, you know. I would have been more open if you say, like, hey, he didn't want to do Dolce & Gabbana. It's taking way too long for us to choose a brand. Let's just go with Max Mara. It'll be fine. I'll pick up the slack when I need to. Something, you know what I'm saying? Don't just blindside me. So we get in the group. She puts us in the group to actually start working on the stuff in this class. And I am annoyed. They're like turned around and like they're not really engaged in a group at the time. Like, they're doing their own work, and I get we have projects for brands and stuff that we have to do, and that's where they want to focus their attention. I get it, but at the end of the day, this is an assignment. I would love to focus my attention there too, but I want to do well in this class, so we need to focus. And I felt like everybody was on the outskirts. And then we have a competitor map we had to do, and the boy is just like, puts his hands, he's like, what? I really don't know the assignment. Like, what are we supposed to be doing? Like, it has to be leather goods. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, where have you been? Like, are you not paying attention in the class? Like, we had a competitor map we had to do, like target customer persona and the intro to the brand, stuff like that. So the competitor map is like the hardest or the most challenging. And I was doing that because, like I said, they weren't really saying too much. So I was like, let me just dive in and let's knock out the stuff out the way. Like, the intro to the brand and stuff, I had already, prior to this class when he said we're doing Max Mara, I had already looked into, like, okay, how did Max Mara get started, like, about their brand, a little bit into their target persona, so I have an idea. So the only thing left that I really had started was a competitor map. So as I'm sitting there, they're not really being, like, a group to me. I was like, let me just start on this competitor map. Like, it is what it is. So that's what I did. When they finally got into group mode, I guess, the boy was saying, like, well, what should we break it up into? Like, who does what, this, that, and the third. And he was like, he wants to do, like, the introduction to the brand. So basically about Max Mara, which I thought, like, if you know this brand, you kind of got the easiest part, but whatever. And the girl was like, she want to focus on the target persona. I had already started the competitor map, and the other boy, he was just sitting there not saying nothing like usual. And so the guy was saying, like, oh, he can help me. And he basically shook his head, like he didn't want to help me. So then they started speaking in Italian to each other, which is kind of annoying because, you know, at this point, I don't know what they're saying. And then the guy that speaks English, he looked up and he was like, he's just going to tell you what brands you should put in for the competitor map. And I'm thinking, like, I can think of brands myself. Like, that's the easiest part. I don't need nobody to tell me what type of, like, no. So then he starts speaking to Italian to the boy again. And he come back, he was like, he gonna help you, he gonna help you. The boy was like, what are you, like, working on? I'm like, I'm working on putting on Ferragamo on the map. And this is a conversation, y'all. I don't consider we could say right now as I'm recording this, but especially in the past, I don't really consider Ferragamo like a very decorative brand for bags. Like, I think they're more on the minimalistic, classical side. But we and him was bumping heads about that. And next thing I know, like 20 minutes go by and I'm just like, this is wasting time. Like, we need to put it on the map. There's other brands that we have to get to, blah, blah, blah. And he sticks around for like once that, maybe one other brand, and then he just kind of does his own thing. I don't know what he was doing. So I come home that night. I finish the competitor map by myself. The next time we have class, she was kind of giving us another assignment for merchandising. Basically, it was like merchandising and marketing combined in a way. I had to like create a merchandising plan for the following year. So the guy in the group that speaks English, he's gonna say, let's just look at all their top handle bags. So I'm like, we're not supposed to look at one typology of bags. Like, it's a marketing assignment. I mean, a merchandising assignment. We have to look at their collection as a whole. They don't listen to me. The girl, she at this point is just doing whatever he say. For some reason, I don't know why, but they just think I didn't know anything. Like, every time I would say something, it was just getting to the point where I had to like prove myself, or, you know, because they never thought I knew anything. So she's like confused in a way. She like, no, he says we need to take a picture of all the top handle bags and put them on a spreadsheet. And I'm just thinking, like, why would we do that? So me, like, and knowing that the teacher didn't say that, I'm finna work on what I know we supposed to do. Like, I can only tell the group so much. Once they like think I don't know nothing, take it upon themselves to continue to do wrong stuff, I shut down at that point. So no, I'm finna do what I know the assignment is. The teacher come over and she like, no, we're not supposed to be looking at one typology of bags. We're supposed to be looking at their collection as a whole because it's merchandising. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I said that 20 minutes ago, but you know, whatever. And at this point, I'm already annoyed. Like, so much done happened. At this point, I'm already annoyed with this group. So I'm still like working, doing it. And in my mind, I'm like, I could do this whole thing by myself. Like, so I start like doing it like by myself. And the girl, she like, what are you doing? You're not saying nothing. Like, let me in. But at this point, it's nothing for me to say because when I say stuff, y'all think I have no idea. It's got to be fact checked. It's got to be proved. The teacher got to come over and reiterate. Like, so why are you asking me a question? And ask me like, what am I doing and stuff like that. I'm doing the assignment, which you should be doing. That's how I was thinking in my head, like, but I'm still like at this point not really saying nothing. I'm like, if the other boy could not say nothing, I'm finna just not say nothing. Some time later, like, she keeps saying like, guys, we need to work as a group. Y'all two aren't saying anything. Like, you need to say stuff. What are you doing? Blah blah blah. What should I do? Blah blah blah. And I'm just, so then the boy that speaks English, he sent like a text out to us and it had like each of our assignments on what we need to do and send it to him. I'm the type of person where you can't tell me what to do. Like, if you tell me what to do, I'm not finna do it. I'm gonna do the opposite. Like, it's gonna annoy me real bad. Like, cause I feel like, one, I'm grown. Two, I don't need nobody telling me. Like, you're not even the teacher trying to hand out an assignment. That's crazy. And what he sent out, it was all in Italian, so I could not understand. I'm like, what is this? So he kind of gets all up in my space trying to like say, it's this, it's this. And I was like, what is this? I don't even know what this says. And he was like, oh, that's right, it's in Italian. And he was like, well, just pull up Google Translate and translate. No, I'm not doing nothing. Like, get out of my space. Like, that's how I was there feeling. And it got to a point where conversation go back and forth. It ended up escalating because I'm like, no, I'm not finna do what you saying I need to do. Like, no. Like, so the translator come over. He like, what's going on? And the boy like gets up from like around me and he just like starts walking off and he's like speaking it. Well, first he's like, you just do whatever you want to do then. And then he just starts speaking in Italian and then talking to the translator, them two going in Italian. Then the translator come squat down beside me and he like, what is going on? And I'm thinking to myself, well, y'all just had a whole conversation in Italian and I don't know what y'all said. So I'll tell you what's going on, but we gonna walk out the classroom so folks don't, because I know this boy know good good English, so I could say what I need to say in peace. So we do that, and I'm trying to tell him like basically the story I just told y'all from start to finish. I don't even get to finish my story before he just kind of cut me off, and he's like, let me see what you're working on, as if the boy had told him like I wasn't doing something or I'm not doing it right or whatever. And I'm like, here I go, gotta prove myself once again. But sure enough, I can prove myself because I'm doing my assignment. So he's like, oh yeah, you're like, dude, I got it right, da da da. And then he's basically like, well, y'all gotta find a way to work together. Clearly, that part, clearly. But I felt like I needed someone to like vent to in a sense. I feel like he helped a little bit. But I realized he kind of just ignored what I was saying and didn't look at like how I was feeling in a way. And he just kind of, whatever the boy said, because he made me show him my assignment as if I wasn't doing any work or I was doing it wrong. So I don't know. And then I guess he had a conversation with the teacher. And I don't know what he told the teacher. But I kind of felt it tacky because the teacher never said anything. Like, it's her classroom. As if you're the teacher, you need to lead. Like, you know, if you see something going on, you need to say something. And if you don't see nothing going on in your classroom and there's only 19 of us, that's a problem. So I guess the translator went and said whatever to her. I don't know. And I was like, let me just take a little seat back, shut my mouth, like, you know, but I'm not finna fail. So when they say something and it's wrong, I'm going to say something like no, because I don't want to fail. Even if I got to prove myself 4, 5, 10 times. For him, he had to take lead. And maybe we had two dominant leadership personalities. I don't know. But he had to take lead. Like, he wanted like the presentations on his screen. Like, he had to have everything. So cool, you do the document. I don't have no issue with that. But the information in the document, like, we need to make sure it's accurate. So he comes and he would have like little slick stuff that he would say like, oh, y'all have a lot of mistakes or this, that. what mistakes? Like, tell me what mistake I had, which he really couldn't point anything out. So I did a competitor map this is from marketing. He come back and say, oh, I did everything all over. So it was his competitor map. Basically similar to mine, I'm not gonna lie, but it was a few things that he changed that I thought was kind of crazy to change. I had to present that part because, you know, competitor map was technically mine, even though he redid it all. But I still had to prove in the pictures where I did my work. So a guy raised his hand and was like, why is Balmain here when it should be over there? And me trying to defend my work in my group, it was kind of like a mess for me because in my original chart, I never had Balmain there. I had Balmain where it belonged because him and the teacher was like, yeah, it should be over there. But here I am. I got to try to defend myself because this is his work that he wants to take credit for. So, or that he thinks it was mistakes in mine, but, you know. And then it was like brands that he had up there twice with different money amounts. And I had said the night before, I had told him, like, hey, you know, I see this on it because I'm going to proofread everything. I see this on there, like, you got this twice, you need to take it off. He only took one of them off. When we got up there, that was another thing. Like, you have this double up. When they asked somebody, it's just a little mistake. And I was thinking to myself, but I told you last night. He had, like, some of the categories, like, unknown. And I was like, oh, it's not unknown category. Like, every line has a name. And he would be like, no, it's unknown. Or where do I see that at? So then I had to, like, pull up on the computer and prove it. Like, it was a constant thing of me proving myself. Versus when the other girl, she had target persona, target customer, when she would ask questions like, oh, I need help, I don't really know, he would just say, whatever you think, it's fine, it's fine. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, what is it? The weekend before we had to present for merchandising, I messaged like, hey, you know, we have this coming up. Do we need to do anything? Like, do we need to meet at a time? They ignored my message. It was plenty of times that I would message like about things and they would ignore. Like one time they had sent like, hey, we're going to stay after class and meet. And I'm like, can we do it before class? Because our class was a night class, you know? That way we have more time. They ignored my message. Wanted to meet after class. We supposed to meet after class, but their strike was going on here for transportation. So it got to the point where the people was like, yo, the buses get ready to stop. And then homie hauled out the door like, oh, shoot. But that's what I'm saying. If we get stuff out, like we had all day. Why we had to wait till 7 o'clock at night to decide we're going to meet about marketing, you know? And for the marketing assignment, the quiet boy, he never showed up, which he didn't do anything anyway. But he texted us 30 minutes before we had to present and say, oh, I'm sick with the flu, I'm throwing up, blah, blah, blah. But came to school the next day without a cough or sneeze or nothing. I was like, man, this is something else to me. But so yeah, when he didn't show up for that part, I guess they took him out of our merchandising presentation too. So that ended his story. For the weekend, we should meet, go over stuff. They ignored. When I did see them in class, they was like, oh, no, it's fine. We don't need to do anything. It's going to be super easy, blah, blah, blah. But there were like mistakes, as he would say, in the presentation. And like I sent him the night before, I sent him messages like, this needs to be changed, this needs to be changed. And he's just like, yeah, I'm in the process. I got to work on it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I'm going to list it out because I still don't want you to forget like you did last time. And then somebody has something that they can point out. And then I was like, also, like, we say for merchandising, we should add in another fabric or we should change the color. Which color should we suggest to the designers? What materials should we suggest to the designers? Like, I think we should be detailed as we can so that way we don't leave room for the teacher to ask us a whole bunch of questions or something to be wrong. So I messaged that to him too. And then he was like, well, do you have any ideas? Can you just send me your notes? I'm thinking, mind you, at this point, it's like damn near midnight. Mind you, I had to be up by 6:30 today for the exam to get over there to the school for the exam and everything. So I really haven't had no sleep. But anyway, we present, and I think the presentation, everything all went well. And then we had to get our grade. And this time I got a 28. This was the highest grade I got, which is an A. I'm actually really proud. But she had no reason to fail me because I was definitely the glue. I was the glue to hold the work together. Like I said, it was so much that, you know, that still had to be added at the end of the night. Like the discontinued bags and stuff. This is last night at midnight. I'm sending text messages like this. He like, well, she just sent me your notes. How do we do this? I'm doing the best I can, you know, because I don't want to fail. And she did talk about like, oh, we had a rough start, this, that, and the third, which I kind of think is tacky to say. But then she's like, I was surprised y'all did this well, being as though what I heard about the group in the beginning, which is crazy, is about what you heard when this is your class, but okay. And she was like, you know, this is really nice. The presentation is great. There's nothing I could say wrong about the presentation. But she wouldn't give me a perfect score of a 30. She said because I should have participated in class more, which I felt like I did participate. And then she gonna ask me why didn't I participate more. But I felt like I did participate. But the only thing I will say, every conversation wasn't for me to put my hand in the air. I'm not that type of person. And also, a lot of the brands that they spoke about, I did not know. Like, she talked a lot about Diesel because she used to work for Diesel. I never really knew anything about Diesel till I came here. Acne Studio, I didn't know too much about that till I came here. So it's just like, for me, I can jump in on the conversations that I do know when we're talking about certain things, but the ones that I don't know, like, this is a master's class. Participation, we really getting grade on participation, really? But whatever, I'm still happy for the A. And yeah, I had to let y'all know that. I'm gonna tell y'all, to sum this up, being here overseas in Italy, studying, whatever. I know people look at this like glitz and glam or whatever. No, this is a great opportunity. Everything that glitters ain't gold. Like, it's a lot of struggles. It's a lot of challenges. When anybody asks me, I have to be real, raw, and honest. Like, I want to be transparent for y'all. Like, I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great journey. And every knowledge and every experience and learning, no one can ever take that from you. And I'm grateful for that. But with that being said, I have to be very honest that all that glitters ain't gold. Like, and I will say this isn't for the weak. And when I mean weak, I mean mentally. Like, this is a strong-minded game. Like, you got to build yourself up. You really got to be mentally there, because it's not for the weak at all. Anybody that's on this journey or want to go through this journey, I do definitely support it. Stay safe, of course. And if you headstrong, you got this. Every opportunity is great. Like, take advantage of it. But just know everything has, like, highs and lows, you know. There are going to be challenges, trials, and tribulations. Thank y'all for tuning in and all my stories. Okay, y'all, let's talk about reflection and takeaways and what we learned. I just want to say, in life, we have to have group projects, or we have to work with people in general. So with that being said, it is important to get along with your group members and try hard to. I never wanted to not get along. Like, I'm in a place where I don't really know anybody. I'm by myself. Like, these are the people that I'm with every day. Of course, I want to get along with them. But at the same time, staying true to you and making sure that everything is accurate, because it's our grade, it's our work, and stuff that's on the line. So I'll say one of the biggest things or takeaway, not trying to have a temper and not allowing things to, like, get to you so easily. Like, even when people do things that you don't like, take a step back, maybe even approach the person like, hey, I didn't like it when you do this. You know, this is a group, we have to work together. But I'll say one of the biggest things, because the world disagrees, like, you know what I'm saying? We agree to disagree, that's life. Like, you're never going to be on the same page with someone all the time. But just knowing that not to take it to another level and that you have to work and complete the mission is the important part. So my biggest takeaway is just to stay level-headed and don't let people get to you to the point where it's messing up the goal or the end goal or whatever it may be, you know, the job, whatever. So yes, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. Until next time, bye guys.